Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Hubar begins now.
Tasmanian schools have come out strong in support of our Matildas by holding various events across the day. The team's success encouraging the next generation to one day step up and represent Australia on the big stage.
Showing their support and cheering the Matildas on. West Launceston Primary School holding a penalty shootout inspired by Saturday's nail-biter against France.
We're doing a penalty shootout between the teachers and the students, and it's really fun.
There's been no goals so far, but I'm pretty confident we're going to win.
While students at Riverside Primary School were hoping for a victory in their own shootout. It wasn't to be, thanks to solid goalkeeping by the teachers, winning the shootout 3-0 in dominating fashion. Hundreds of school students across Tasmania will be inspired by the success of the Matildas, hoping one day their football dreams become reality.
They're just creative. They always find a way to come back when they're down.
It's really inspirational for everybody and to see them doing so well.
For 12-year-old Layla Brewster, the Matildas' performance has encouraged her to aim higher. She gained valuable experience already by representing Australia in futsal earlier this year.
I think it's great for me to experience versing other countries, so that the future I have a bit of experience.
As for a prediction on who is going to win tonight, and you're hoping that they're going to win tonight?
Yes.
Do you think they're going to win? Yeah, hopefully. Who do you think's going to win?
I think it's a pretty even chance, actually.
Joining the green and gold tide, Mark Zita, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanian Matildas fans have begun streaming into 3 live sites around the state ahead of tonight's match. Ruby Cairns is one of our live reporters tonight at one of those sites at Hobart's Princess Wharf. Ruby, it is an exciting night, as we've already seen. What's the turnout like so far down there?
Lou, a colourful and vocal crowd have slowly started to trickle in, all hoping to secure a prime viewing spot as Matildas mania sweeps the state. Fans have been encouraged to grab a seat here early, with live streaming beginning at 7 ahead of the 8 p.m. kickoff. It's shaping up as a nervous night ahead for many, but some are confident the Tillies have what it takes to book a spot in the World Cup final.
I thought, why not get in early and support the female soccer team? And I reckon we've got it on England. The way we played the last couple of games, we should be right. No dramas.
And the green and gold theme is also taking over landmarks in Hobart tonight, with the Tasman Bridge set to illuminate in our national colours for the big game. And if you can't make it down to one of the live sites, you can catch all the World Cup action right here on 7 Tasmania. It starts after the news. Lou.
And we can't wait. Thank you for that, Ruby. And taking a look again at the day's other news now, the man accused of murdering Cheyenne Lee Tatnall has briefly appeared before the Launceston Magistrates Court. Christopher Mark Jordan was charged over the Burnie teenager's death last month after her remains were found in bushland at Nabola. The 36-year-old did not enter a plea when he appeared via video link from Risdon Prison. His appearance lasted less than a minute. The Scottsdale man is also facing firearm and drug-related charges. The matter has been adjourned until November 29. Tasmania's coffers are more than $1 billion better off than a year ago, State Parliament heard today. Energy Minister Guy Barnett faced further probing in question time, with future projects questioned.
With the Premier away at National Cabinet, the Deputy was the one sharing the good news.
As a result of improved revenues, Mr Speaker. As a result of our strong financial management, Mr Speaker.
The deficit for last financial year, $202 million. $270 million better than expected. The state's worrisome net debt also looks considerably lighter, sitting at $1.87 billion instead of the original $2.99. Increased GST payments from the federal government has helped our bottom line, but Labor's blaming $400 million in undelivered infrastructure.
And is it sustainable to put more than $500 million of general government spending on the credit card every year?
The government faced a flurry of energy questions this morning. A second green hydrogen proponent doesn't look like delivering Bell Bay plans. Origin Energy now pausing work.
But the fact is that Tasmania currently has no energy to provide to hydrogen proponents, and they have now left our state.
We'll continue working with everyone who wants to come and bring their investment to Tasmania.
As Labor laments hold-ups with the Whaleback Ridge wind farm.
We make no apology for undertaking a thorough approach.
The government saying they're waiting for more information from the proponents.
Tasmanians are sick of listening to Guy Barnett talk about things but never ever deliver.
Guy Barnett later ordered by the Parliament to provide updated cost estimates for Marinus and other energy projects. Christy Johnston's push for an inquiry into the Office of Racing Integrity and all 3 codes of racing has been shot down after Labor and key independents voted against it.
She wants to shut down the Tasmanian racing industry, and for her this was a mechanism to allow her to do that.
When it came to the time to put their money where their mouth is, they declined to actually step forward and support this motion.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's emergency department bed block has been labelled the worst in the country in a new report. It pins the blame on cost-cutting measures, while the government says it all comes down to more people presenting to hospital.
It's a health system plagued with problems.
We've seen the lengths of stay go up. We've seen people waiting far too long in our emergency department, and we know that that has very negative consequences.
We know that there are many avoidable deaths, many premature deaths as a result of people being kept in emergency for too long, not getting care.
Policy analyst Martin Goddard's report indicates a 5% rise in public hospital patients each year, but only a 3.3% increase in beds. His findings based on the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare's data, pinpointing the Launceston General Hospital as having the worst emergency department bed block in the country.
That now is costing the state budget about $280 million a year.
By creating a system that can only be less efficient, we're spending more money. We're actually wasting money.
The so-called poor investment also impacting Tasmania's elective surgery wait list, with around 9,000 people currently in limbo. The Australian Medical Association again pleading with the federal government to increase funding by at least 5%.
And that's not a big change, and the federal government did it in times during COVID, and we want it now continued permanently, which allows people to have the surgery they need.
Meanwhile, the Health Department claims it's continuing to work on patient access and flow, implementing alternatives to emergency department attendance and opening 237 new beds since July 2018. But for those on the front line or needing care, those figures are barely scratching the surface. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
One lucky Tasmanian has woken $30 million richer after winning the entire Oz Lotto jackpot last night. Their identity still remains a mystery, as they weren't registered to a playing card. But it seemed Tassie's a good place to buy a ticket. This is our second Oz Lotto win since February, where a Strahan resident took home $10 million. The removal of a controversial statue is a step closer after a Tasmanian Heritage Council decision. Hobart City Council has been given a permit to remove a statue of Dr. William Crowther. The former Premier was involved in decapitating an Aboriginal man's body in 1869. There are conditions to ensure protection of the statue while it is in storage. The council now has final decision on a planning permit and removal works. The big issues impacting Tasmanians have been put on centre stage as part of the inaugural Mercury Bush Summit. Key decision makers and industry leaders coming together in Hobart as part of a national campaign exploring the challenges of regional and rural life in Australia. 3 expert panels gathered to discuss a range of topics, including livability and limited access to quality healthcare.
It's a problem across the state. If you went into any rural town in Tassie, you would hear the same thing. You know, it's just very hard to access any GP currently.
Issues and solutions discussed will be put to the state and federal governments. Tasmania is preparing to honour its Vietnam veterans who returned from war 50 years ago this Friday. Lenah Valley's RSL will host one of several statewide services marking Memorial Day with 17 wreaths for the 17 Tasmanian soldiers who paid the ultimate sacrifice.
When we returned, we were nearly shunned in a lot of instances. I wasn't even allowed to join an RSL because I wasn't considered a returned soldier.
The RSL is encouraging family members of the deceased to attend its ceremonies. More child and family learning centres are popping up around the state. A Glenorchy centre adjacent to the primary school is expected to be completed by term 3 next year and is being co-designed with the local community.
It's quite a multicultural community, so we will ensure that it's very welcoming and culturally safe for all members of the community.
Every single one of these child and family learning centres is tailored to the needs of the community it sits in the middle of.
2 more centres in West Ulverston and Waratah Wynyard are nearing completion. It's not often we think about our green scraps after they get thrown in the bin, but a new project is hoping to give them a second life. If successful, it will benefit farmers, Tasmanian tips and even the everyday veggie grower.
The secret ingredient, which has been in front of us the whole time.
Really good, even better than compost for reducing greenhouse gas emissions.
The Macrobies Gully Waste Management Centre's the home of a new trial, hoping to find a viable solution to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. It sees green waste burnt in a kiln, converting it to pure carbon. It's then filtered with water, creating black gold, otherwise known as biochar.
It's generally around the 6 to 10 cubic metres of green waste becomes 1 to 2 cubic metres of biochar.
The pilot project's already proved popular in Europe, where it can fetch for more than $3,000 a tonne, and in the Yarra Ranges of Victoria, where it's added to crops and fertiliser for its water-saving benefits.
This product locks in the carbon and stores it for hundreds, if not 1,000 years. So there are huge benefits that I think we're only on the tip of.
A similar project set to start soon in Sorell, with hopes more councils will jump on board if successful.
It's a very small industry at this stage in Tasmania, and so we're hoping to encourage more and more people to learn about it, to appreciate the benefits of it, to use it, to buy it.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
The Jack Jumpers have hit the court a little earlier than first expected. The team played a closed session match against the California Baptist University last night as part of the American side's tour of Australia. In what could be a taste of what's to come, the Jack Jumpers emerged victorious with an 85 to 75 point finish. Their pre-season continues this week. Well, King Island will now end the year with a trip around the track. Originally slated for January 6th, the highly anticipated race day has been moved forward and will now be held on the 31st of December. The King Island races will feature a packed lineup of both thoroughbred and harness racing. And support for netball is looking bright in Tasmania. Just days after announcing the Diamonds will play 2 matches against South Africa in October, tickets are almost sold out. Passionate netball fans have jumped at the chance to see our world champions in action, with around 85% of seats already snapped up. Diamonds Fever will take over MyState Bank Arena on October 29 and 31.
Good evening. Well, the nerves are tingling already, and it's not because of the cold weather. Even though it was cold around the state today, Hobart and Burnie did reach 15, just 11 in Launceston, 12 for Devonport, Burnie 15 today. Friendly Beach is the high with 16 degrees, Grove and Bushy Park 15, 14 today at Strawn and the Islands, Low Head and St Helens 13, the overnight low -4 at Bushy Park, Butler's Gorge and Lyawini. The east and central districts mostly clear of the cloud today as a few light showers did develop over the west and north. A frontal cloud band is just to our west, extending back to Western Australia. Middle level cloud over much of South Australia and southern Queensland. Tomorrow the front weakens as it moves over Tasmania. Another moves south of the Bight. A trough remains over Central Australia. Northwest winds at 10 to 20 knots with an increase to 30 knots over the northwest tomorrow evening. So we have a strong wind warning over the northwest corner between Sandy Cape and Stanley. Tomorrow for Hobart, 14 with a shower or two. A shower also for Cygnet, 13 the top and 15 for New Norfolk. Launceston, a high tomorrow of 14 degrees and showery. Devonport the same, 13 the top for Campbelltown. Burnie expecting a few showers as well, 13. Same for Strawn, Smith and showery and 14 degrees. St Helens tomorrow, fine but cloudy and 16 the top, a few showers further south at Swansea and Fingal. On Friday, showers more frequent over the north and west with snow to 700 metres. A fine start to the weekend. For most, the chance of a shower in the west, and on Sunday, similar weather with westerly winds. Partly cloudy in Perth, a cool showery day in Adelaide, showers increasing over Melbourne. A morning frost as -3 starts the day in Canberra. A sunny 20 in Sydney, 26 in Brisbane tomorrow, but showers are predicted there. Bit of cloud over Hobart, it's 10 right now in Launceston, 9 degrees and 10 degrees in Devonport. Louise, great to see you wearing the colours tonight. I would have done the same, but if I wore green and gold here, the way my background works, you'd be able to see right through me. But you can anyway, can't you?
Yes, that we certainly can. Thank you for that, Merv. That's all your news for now. I will be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us and go Matildas. Good night.